Hello, in this video, I'm going to share with you how I built my confidence back after a breakup. So hopefully if you're going through the experience, then you can get something useful from this video. Um, when I remember years ago when this happened, I think what I was trying to do before in my life is that I was always trying to, achieve things externally, more certificates, more education, a promotion, a better job, more money, maybe traveling abroad. I was I was always trying to get success on the external realm, and this was probably the first time that I started to look at myself and to realize that, well, maybe this is not the recipe, but for success and for joy as well. But then I thought, well, maybe I didn't achieve the high levels of success, and that's when like you get really 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 happy and you feel good about yourself. And so what I did, I remember, is that I started to go online and Google, famous and successful people. So I remember one of the people that I researched at the time was Michael Phillips. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a great person. Like, he basically made history. Like he has to be one happy camper, There are no doubts about that. And so, but I was shocked when I actually started reading about his life story, and then I realized that at one point of his life he was so depressed that he was involved in a car accident that almost, killed him. Um, I think it was like he was doing that intentionally, and the reason was because of a turbulent relationship with his dad. And so when I started reading about that, I was like, oh my God, like, even the most successful people that we believe in life, they've got it made, they have to be happy. It turns out that I then realized that it wasn't about external achievements. It wasn't about achieving the materialistic external things that would make us, it could make us successful, but it wasn't the key element for happiness and for joy and feeling good about ourselves. And that was probably the first time when I started realizing that, okay, maybe I have to start, working on myself internally. Maybe I have to start working inside out. And so what I did at the time is that I started to look at things like how did I really feel about myself, in, like, regardless of all the external and good things that I achieved in my life. And that was when things started to move forward and to actually change for me, because what I realized is that I I did not feel good about myself. I really did not feel good about myself at all. And then I started to observe my thoughts, my inner thoughts, my inner conversations. Like, what do I think on a daily basis? What kinds of emotions do I experience every week? The kinds of choices that I was making in my life, the people that I was surrounding myself with, most of the time. And so, I started to look at fundamental things in my life rather than evaluating it from the external, like, surroundings or things that I achieved before. And so one of the first things that I noticed back then is that I had so much going on inside, more than I have ever allowed myself to acknowledge before. I was feeling so bad about myself. I had so much anger. Anger. I was such an angry person. I was so frustrated, and I always found a way to blame someone or something or external circumstances. Like, I was not happy with where I was in life, and that was also, I had so much guilt and shame about my choices, and I felt really, you know I doubted myself every step of the way. I felt like a victim, to, to so many things, to my circumstances and to the things that I wasn't able to change in my life. I felt that I had, you know I was not happy about who I was and the place that I was having in this world. Not at all. not at all. And then I realized that the kinds of conversations, inner conversations that I was having with myself every day, they resembled the feelings, and they actually at like some points it felt like a circle, like I was going in a circle. I think those thoughts and I have more of those feelings, anger, shame, frustration, sadness, depression. And then what I realized is that when I looked, uh, is that I thought, well, maybe I'm feeling that way because of the breakup, because of like because I lost the love of the person that I felt he loved me more than anybody else in the world. But then when I got really honest with myself, I realized that I actually felt depressed and anxious and really bad about myself way before he was even in my life. And so at first I was trying to make him the reason why I was feeling that way. But then when I got super transparent and honest with myself, I realized that, well, he the pain that I experienced when he left me was, it was like a it brought up all the pain that I have already been suppressing within, from everything that I so many so many experiences that I've been through in my life that did not work. And because I did not take the time to process that, and I didn't take the time to process that because I was so busy trying to achieve things and to get more things and to get more certification, more education, because I thought, well, this is how you make yourself valuable in this world, right? But then, yeah, I realized that it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of him. It was, this is how I've always felt about myself, but I've never acknowledged it before. And that was the first time that I actually allowed myself to say it, you know. Um, and so I realized, well, I guess that's why it happened. I guess that's why it happened, because you never end up with someone who truly values you and loves you if you don't even know how to value and appreciate yourself to begin with. That's another thing that I got after that. Yeah. And so the one of the things that really helped me with this is that I started creating my identity around internal values rather than evaluating myself in terms of like how much do I achieve in my life. And so I started, writing down things that really matter to me in my life. And I'm talking about values, things like honesty, things like integrity, um, like self respect, like discipline, like kindness and courage and curiosity. Uh, these were the things that I truly appreciated. And I realized later on is that anytime I admired someone else, basically it was because of these things. Yes, because I when I observed, so I asked myself, well, who in the world do I like? And then when I started looking at the names, it wasn't necessarily about the external success or, oh, like this person is a celebrity, they have so much money, and so on and so on and so on. No, I realized that, well, there's something great about this person, and that great thing most likely is a value. Yes. So Oprah, for example, I mean, look at her. She adds to so many people's lives, and it's who she is that we really like. Her kindness, her sense of contribution to the world with the kind of material and content that she's constantly putting out. It's not because she has so much money, because there's so many people who have more money than her, but we don't look up to them. And so I realized that, oh, what really matters in this life is internal values. I'm not saying that money is a bad thing. Money is a great resource. Success is fantastic. Having a lot of education is wonderful if it serves you and it helps you to become a better person. But that was not the case for me. Like I was approaching all these things from from an empty space things. But the problem is that I was trying to achieve and get these things to fill in the void that I was feeling inside, and that's where the problem comes from. But when you approach these things from a place of growth, of wanting to learn, of wanting to expand yourself and to become more, then that's when these things become great, enjoyable, and less stressful, because you're not, because I wasn't, placing my self-worth or value upon the achievement. Because if what if I don't achieve that thing? Does that mean that I'm less valuable or less worthy? Of course not. You know, um, and then I think the second thing that I started doing is that I stopped, um, and of course it took practice, but I stopped seeking other people's acceptance or validation or liking. I realized that number one, this is not within my control. Not everyone I'm going to meet is going to like me. I'm not going to like everyone I meet. But I realized that there's something more important than liking or even loving someone. That is respect. You know, I realized that what I want is to be respected. Well, whether I'm gonna be liked or not, well, it would be nice, but if it doesn't happen, at least I like myself. I accept myself and I respect myself for who I was becoming. And so I think that this is it's such a it's a source of such big pressure, because when we constantly trying to, because before I was always worried about, okay, well, how do people feel about me, like what do they think of what I said, or what I did. And it caused me to become such an anxious person, because I was constantly trying to get people to like me, and that meant that I was malleable. I had no sense of identity. I had no I could not even stand for the things that I really believed in, because I was scared. Well, what if someone else does not agree with me? What if someone does not like the way I look, or I dress, or my opinions? That means that this person is not going to like me. And so over time, it takes I mean, it takes practice, of course. But when I got to a place where I was like, I care more about how I feel about myself when I'm by myself. This matters way more than worrying about what do people think of me and whether they like me or not. This was such a relief. I can't tell you right now how great it really feels when I do something that I truly believe in, even if nobody else gets it, even if no one, including the people that you want so much to love you, like your family and friends. I realize that at times, even those people are not gonna, like hop in and believe and support you in everything that you want that you want. I mean, there are going to be times when you go like, you want to do what? Travel and live abroad? Why? So, um, coming from a place um, of being so authentic and being so honest with myself, that I said, okay, well, I'm going to listen to what my heart and what my soul is telling me. And if people that I care about agree with that, if they like that, that's fine. But if they don't, that's fine as well. I'm still going to do it, and the way that I believe it. And there's such freedom, there's such joy that comes with this. And because in the end of the day, you feel that you're so authentic, you're so true to yourself. And then you go to bed at night and you feel a sense of triumph, because you did not succumb into the pressure of wanting so many people, everyone to like you. And then the other thing is that it's not my responsibility, and it's not within my control for anybody else to like me. um and that's so humbling, by the way. Like, sometimes I, like, in the beginning I was like, this is so arrogant not to want anyone to like me or accept me. No, it's not arrogant. No, it's not. Actually, the opposite. I think is arrogance, because if you expect and want everyone to like you, I mean, what, there's so many great people in life, and there's still have so many people that don't like them. They don't agree with their opinions or what they stand for. But it doesn't matter. So it's actually more humbling to realize that, oh, It's okay. Not everyone is gonna like me, and I'm not gonna like everyone. That's all right. But respect is what really matters, you know. And so, um, self-esteem comes from being so true to yourself. That's what I realized, and being so authentic, making the choices that really serve me, that really help me to show up as the best person that I can be. And I realized that this actually makes me more valuable to the people in my life than if I constantly try to be someone else because I'm seeking validation and acceptance. That was a difficult uh, that was a difficult lesson to learn. I'm not saying, listen, I am always and I will always be a work in progress. But what I'm saying is that I got so much better right now in this. There are going to be moments when you feel a little bitter because you feel like, ah, why don't they get me? Why don't they sense how important this thing is to me? But then the what I realize is that the more you hold on to that, the more difficult things are going to be for me, you know. But if I release that, and if I allow other people to believe in what they believe, to whether agree with me or not, that's fine. When I gave that up, a lot of pressure went away, you know. And with that pressure came the freedom of allowing myself to do what I truly believe in and just being authentic, you know. And yeah, that's that's all right. And then number three is that um, I I started to find ways to make myself genuinely safe and secure and happy and fulfilled in my life when I am by myself without being in a relationship or yeah, just I started to construct my life in a way where there's so many sources of joy, you know. There's so many sources of fulfillment, you know. That means work, that means whether like it's a business. So for me it was work, family. I so much love to spend time with my family, especially my nephews and nieces, you know, my friends, people I care about, doing things that I really like to do by myself, you know, like reading or meditating, or going for a walk, traveling sometimes, you know, exploring, learning new things. Um, it's I thought that um, I thought that looking at different aspects of my life and trying to distribute the energy that I put out and the energy that comes in, I realized that this is a more healthy and holistic way, or approach to live my life, rather than because before I used to think, well, this relationship that I had before, it was the reason I felt so bad when it ended is that I was I was, you know, forming like I thought that was the main source of joy for me, you know. And that's why I was holding way too much on to it, because I was like, well, if I let this go, then I have nothing else in my life, you know. If I let this go, then I'm not happy, like I'm not successful, I'm not fulfilled. But then I realized that when we do that, when we put all our eggs in one basket and the basket goes away, then we are left with nothing. And so this is what I learned from that experience, is that to try to, you know, like distribute and to have so many sources of fulfilling myself and becoming a person that is, you know, multifaceted, you know. Doing things for to take care of my body, you know, feeding my mind, my soul, and at the same time doing things for leisure. Um, it's it it makes you feel that you live such a rich life. And then when you are like, when you're ready to be in a relationship, you become such a rich person, because you have so many experiences to share, you have so many skills and so many attributes and qualities and abilities that makes you such a wonderful person to be around. And yeah, like it left off the pressure of having to be with someone to be happy, because well, you can be with someone and That's one of the so many, sources of happiness or joy in your life, but it doesn't have to be, though it can never be the only one. I think it's so much pressure on yourself and on the other person, if we expect it to be that. Well, I really hope that you guys found some kind of value from this video, and if you do, make sure to watch the latest video and subscribe, and I'll catch you up in our next one. Have a great one.